Hello everyone, and welcome to this last talk show already. And today we will talk about user and society here with Daniela from Clutch. So can you maybe introduce yourself?
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity and to tell something about us. I'm Daniela Hoek from Clutch. I'm 51 years old already. Living in Katwijk, and our studio is in Amsterdam, where we are right now. We are an agency founded in 2017, the 1st of April. It's not a joke. And every year on the 1st of April, we do joke celebrations. And my role in Clutch is partly managing and operations, and partly concepting and strategy.
Well, that's super nice to hear. And how did you get into this role in Clutch, into this super diverse direction?
Yeah, that's kind of part of my life. Looking backwards on what I studied here before and what I didn't study, maybe that is also an interesting question.
Yeah, because what did you study?
Yeah, I take one step earlier because that's, for me, it's interesting. I was in high school and in my days, it wasn't an opportunity to do it. So yeah, I don't know the English word, but today, to do a year something else to decide what your interests are in. So the deadline came that you should make a decision, and I thought, okay, I really like organizing stuff, and I like getting things done, but I also like more the cultural and the artist direction. So I choose to do a winter course at in The Hague at the Royal Art Academy, and to see if fashion design could be something for me. That was really interesting study, but the end was, it is okay, but I don't think for 4 years diving into this only is, it's interesting enough for me. It's too specialized, and I want something broader. And then the dean of my school said, you have to make a decision now, because the date is there that you have to be on the list of a school. And then there's, I don't know why I stepped into this, but he said, I think chemistry is something for you. And I think to work at the laboratorium is very interesting. And I said yes. So that was my more practical and organized side of me that was thinking of that. And after 3 months, there was an exercise, and the exercise was draw the inside of a refrigerator. And I was drawing the shelves and where the eggs are in, and then I was looking at my at another student, and I thought, I see lines and cooling liquid. Didn't thought of that. And then I thought, I can do 2 things. I can go forward with the study, or I can do something else. And then my practical way of thinking came in. I don't want to lose a year. What is the study that I can step in immediately after 3 months without losing a year? And that was Dutch literature. Because a friend of mine did Dutch literature. And that was the perfect study for me. Oh. So it is really a coincidence that I did Dutch literature in Leiden. But it was the best study for me, and that's also the way I am standing in my life. That sometimes you are going into a direction and you feel this is not a right direction. then it's always good to think by yourself, why don't you quit? And then something will present sometimes which you didn't expect, but could be the right direction.
Yeah, that's super cool that you have this mindset of just going with the flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have like other things like later in your path that always also happened because of this mindset?
Yeah, that's still now when we are Clutch and I am one of the two founders. The other founder is Remy. He isn't here because of positive tested corona. Bad luck. I was with him, but luckily not tested positively. And for now, also, I have far more the mindset of looking around you and seeing opportunities, and then step into that. And my co-founder is more thinking upfront what would be the direction. So that's a kind of a different approach. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super nice that you can combine both your visions in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you mentioned it already. Can you tell a little bit more about what Clutch does?
Yeah. We are a digital design agency, and when I tell that to people, a lot of people don't know what it is. Digital design. What do you do? What do you make then? What we do is at one side we really make stuff. So visual identities like branding, logos, styles for organizations, really visual, but also the user experience of websites and applications. That's more the structural part. But the other part of us is the more thinking part, and that is more the strategy part of digital design and thinking what you can do, what you can invent more, and what problems that can you solve with digital design. And those two parts are in the same company, but we see it as two propositions.
Wow. Yeah. And was this really already a thing, this digital, a digital internet kind of company, or was it really that your vision and Remy's vision came together and that you really created this kind of company?
Yeah, the first time we met each other was in a digital design project. So that was the click that we have, and the yin-yang feeling that you also mentioned, kind of. So for us, that was really the feeling, this is working very good. And we really have, together we have more than the two of us separately. And that is really the click that you sometimes feel with someone. And we were working in the digital design area, and that was our passion. So why not start a digital design agency?
Yeah.
And so that was the mindset of, that was the most practical thing to do.
Yeah, so it's again, it just came on your path and you went.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's super nice.
Yeah.
Okay, now a little harder question. When you look at yourself in this company, in this world, what do you think that the biggest value is that you can bring to the table for humanity, for the world?
Yeah, in the digital design area, you mean? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question, because I think every agency that is working in a design area has to think about the value that you will give to the world. And I think for most of the design agency, it is bringing something beautiful, something nice. It would be really a bad idea when you are a designer and you think, I'm gonna design something very ugly.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah. I don't think that is coming up in the head of any designer. But interesting part of us, and that we really want to combine, is thinking and doing. And I think you can make a difference as a design agency in both areas. In the thinking direction, to get really to the meaning of what the organization is standing for, and that you will work for. And that sometimes isn't easy, because an organization or a client can come to you and they say, oh, I want a new visual identity. Can you make something for me? And then you are asking, but who are you? What do you want to be? And I think when a designer comes really to the backbone and to the goal of an organization, and an organization is made of people, so it's always a people story, then you can make the best design there is. And then comes doing. So I think it's always thinking and doing, thinking, listening and understanding very good what the situation is and what the goals are, and doing, make the best that you can for this goal. And our slogan is make more to love. And that is always, when we are working with a team together, we always, I think a couple of times in a week, we say, it's not good enough. There must be more love in it. There's no love in it. So that's really our word. There must be love in it.
Oh, that's super cool, because you were talking about this, that every story here is a people story.
Yeah.
So that's also like one of the cornerstones of then the projects here, that you really look at the people in a company. And how does that come back in your process?
Yeah, that's a difficult question, because Remy and I are really doing it automatically. So when we are, could be anywhere. We travel to New York for a project, or in Barcelona also. When we are with the two of us, people come to us and ask questions if we can help. So I don't know what it is, but they, apparently we look like people who want to listen. I think that's the case, but that's not something that you invent when you're 10 or 50 years old. It's how you are, I think.
Yeah, true. Maybe it's really baking into your
I think so. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, could be. And that's why I think thinking backwards, because at that time I didn't have a clarification for it. But that Dutch literature is about people's stories, people in context, people who give reaction on something, people who are thinking about stuff. And yeah, you learn a lot with studying literature about people at all.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting that you did this literature study, and that you're here right now.
Yeah.
But you were talking about sometimes a company just comes to you like, okay, we want a new brand identity.
Yeah.
And then you just do it, or like, we want to know more about who you are first.
Yeah, exactly. And the second choice we make. And we also like to see the people behind the organization. And now in Corona times, it's really difficult. Mm-hmm. But also now we really want to have the people on the floor here, look them in the eyes, and try to see what really moves them and what they are going for. And then we also make kind of a decision. I think it's not always very explicit, but in our head, this could be really a cool project, because the people are very cool. Yeah, they were very cool. So in the way of how we think about projects is always the people behind it that makes us exciting about the job. And that's not always the money. So maybe we are not very good entrepreneurs in that, but it's always the energy and the energy of the people and the way they are standing in it.
Wow, well, that's so cool to hear, because it's always like that the students have like all these ideals, like they want to make the world a better place. And then you're like these people that are getting older, like, I just want money and a stable job. No, but that's not the case here. But if you have like multiple clients, I think that you can't just do like every project. Sometimes you have to choose, or not.
Yeah, I don't. It's also important that you are good in planning and or organizing stuff, and that's why it is good that I'm in the company. So that when you see a really interesting project coming in and they ask if you have time, it's always plannable with maybe freelancers or other people, or delaying a little bit that we can do that project. So we didn't have to say no a lot of times.
Oh, that's also nice to hear. And you were talking about that it's difficult to really make a connection with people in these Corona times.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have, because our students also like work a lot behind their laptop now.
Yeah.
So do you have any tips on how to do make this connection, or just make it a little better than it's in the standard is right now?
Yeah, hopefully we will get more physical meetings again. I think that's really the way to move forward. And the combination is very important, I think. So there are a lot ideas about making better connections in digital meetings. I'm doubting if that can reach the physical meeting that you have. I don't think so.
Now, of course, it's super different to just only by looking at someone's face, see how they feel.
Yeah, and maybe a strange idea. For me, what helps is not to have face-to-face digital meetings, but to call again, to take the phone and to take a walk. Because then you have another setting and you're more in a normal way of speaking with each other than, we are in a meeting, we are looking to each other, and now the meeting begins. And when you take the phone and you are walking or doing something else, it's more informal.
Yeah, because that's really something I struggle with, is that you have all these brainstorms online.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but online brainstorms just don't work for me.
No.
So sometimes I just take a walk with someone or try to meet in person.
Yeah, I think that's much better.
But it's super hard.
Yeah.
Okay, but coming back to the ideals.
Yeah.
I hear that you have a lot of passion for what you do, and it's not all about the money, but also just about making people really happy.
Yeah.
But do you feel like you really make a positive impact on the lives of these people you help?
Yeah. Well, you don't think that you do that and you have to stop.
Yeah, of course, it's implied a little, but how do you really help these people then?
Yeah, that's really from tiny little details to broader insights. And speaking of tiny little details, as a designer, and for us it's a digital area, what you like to do is that you make products, and our products are presentations, because an organization has content which you want to present. Content could be information from the government, could be information to buy stuff, anything. Our goal is to make the best presentation for your content that we can make. And the best presentation is something, and that is what which gives, which clarifies stuff, which inspires maybe, or which gives comfort, could also be the case. And when we reach that goal, and we try to do it with very little design details, by giving feedback, by animations, by structuring very clear, then you really want to have that feeling for the end user, that they think, yeah, this was a really good way to find my information. This was really pleasant. I have struggled a long time, but now I got it. It's clear for me, or I am inspired, and that's really what you are working for.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's really nice to also hear from those people.
Yeah, exactly.
That really helps what you're doing.
Yeah.
And what I find really interesting in this digital age is that everything is changing so rapidly.
Yeah.
And how do you keep up with all the changes?
Yeah, that's true. And there are not only technical developments which are changing very rapidly, but also organizational developments. The way people are organized now are changing, and that's also very interesting because, yeah, how do you cope as an organization with that? Mm-hmm. What it means is that you, I think in 10 years back, you designed and developed for a project which could hold 5 to 10 years. That's not the question anymore because you have to design and develop for the case that it will change, and it could be in less than a year already. And that's something which, should be in your head before you start. How is the branch changing in which the client is? How is the information changes? How long will this stand? It's something that you have to take into account.
Yeah, so what you're saying is just really taking this really proactive role.
Yep.
And again, listening.
Yep.
Listening to the surroundings and seeing what's changing.
Yeah, exactly. And not only listening to what the client is saying, but what you also hear from other clients or from programs or news. Could be anything.
And isn't it tiring to always learn new things, or is it actually exciting?
Yeah, exactly. I hope it will never stop. That's the most exciting part of this job. There's so much going on, and when you are thinking about design, especially I think in this period where there are a lot of society issues like the climate issues, mobility in the cities, you can't name it, but when you don't have a design mindset, you're not going to solve those issues. So it's so important now that you are excited to look around you and that you want to think about it. What could I thinking of? Maybe it's a weird idea, but could be the beginning of a solution. I think that's really the mindset that you have to have.
Yeah. Okay. Because hearing this, I feel like you're really absorbed in all the projects and really want to see what's behind the company and the people.
Yeah.
And what is a thing you see that other companies do that's quite a mistake? Like, what if they're looking at user experiences, or not only companies, but maybe starting students?
Yeah.
Like, are there things they don't do?
Yeah, or do too much, but also be okay.
That's also interesting. Maybe they overdo something.
Yeah, what we see, we have a lot of interns also in our company coming from CMD, multimedia design education. And what we see and what we de-learn is that they learn to choose all kind of methods and processes that are on the shelves, that you can take those, and then that is kind of a running book from phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you have the process good in those phases, then you have a good product. Yeah. And really, that's not how it works. Sometimes you begin at step 1, sometimes you begin at step 3 and you go back to 1. And sometimes you don't take the steps in the books at all. You find a method or a tool by yourself, or a new way of thinking. And I think that is really something which makes it far more fun. And as I see, a lot of students are really a little bit afraid of failing in not taking the right methods from the shelves. And then I always said, what is your own opinion about this? How can we approach this? What can you think of? And leave the message in the books.
Yes,
it's good. But think about it by yourself. You're also a human being. What would you do when you were in that situation, or when you work in that company?
Yeah. But I feel like those methods are there for already like quite a long time. So in a lot of people's minds, they're like, okay, these methods must be good. They must be working if I use them. Yeah,
exactly. And they are very good. We use them also very much. But it's not, it's something you can use. It's not the way that you have to go to deliver a high quality product. And that's different. You really have to be very eager to choose your own methods. Why not?
Yeah, but I feel like it's quite hard in the beginning and very scary. You're just starting out and you're like, oh, okay, we'll just try something.
Yeah.
You have no idea if it actually works.
No, but I think you know the method Crazy 8.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
That's really taking one paper, fold it into 8 pieces, and then you have 8 super small brainstorms.
Yeah.
When you are in a situation that you're thinking, oh, 8 is too much. Oh, I don't have time for the Crazy 8. Make it a Crazy 4. Why not?
Yeah.
So it's also a little bit in the tiny things. Hack it a bit. It's not about the methods. It's about something that will help you.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's really a nice last thing before the break, because we need some time to breathe again. So we'll see you back in a bit. Okay, welcome back. I hope you had a nice break, and let's continue the conversation. So we talked quite globally about like who you are and who Clutch is, but I was wondering if you can maybe tell something more about the projects you do. Like,
Yes.
what, for example, is a project that you're really like proud of?
Yeah. There are a lot of projects that we are proud of. Maybe it's good to tell something about the kind of clients that we have, because it's really it differs a lot. We have a couple of really big clients, corporate organizations like Centraal Beheer, Vodafone Ziggo, Vattenfall. I think those are the biggest ones. But also smaller clients, and I don't want to call them smaller, but smaller organizations, could be a government organization. In Amsterdam, we do websites for an innovative department of gemeente Amsterdam. But also an IT company with 100 persons as employees.
That's nothing.
That's nothing. So everyone is expecting that you are the most proud of the big companies and that you can work for them. That is also very nice. And the rebranding from Nuon to Vattenfall, which we did, was a really nice project. Because it was so challenging and a big pressure cooker to have it done in the right time, and then in the end, so much positive feedback. But also a lot of little projects that we did, for example, Infologic. That is a really small company, I think 10 to 50 people, who were making the technical stuff for the boards on the airport, on what you where you see which gate you have to go.
At Schiphol then.
Yeah, exactly. And the tooling that they make, they sell it to other airports as well, of course, not only Schiphol. It should be very limited.
Yeah.
And they had a very traditional, boring visual identity. And in a couple of sessions with the team there were also very emotional sessions, because they were really on a tipping point of their company. What direction should we go? Mm-hmm. Is it this way or that way? And we made a new visual identity, and that gave them new energy to go further. And it's so nice to see how people then move forward, and that you can help them to find a new direction. That's really valuable if you can do that.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's also really interesting that not your biggest project is specifically also the one you're proudest of.
No.
It's more like the feeling behind
Yeah.
it. But I'm interested because you have these different companies, like bigger and smaller.
Yeah.
But is your approach also very different in those circumstances?
The approach is not very different for the different clients, except of the size. But it depends on the question. Some clients come to us and say, we want a new visual identity. And if you are a big client or a small client, we take kind of the same steps. You start with questioning the why, and what is your core, and what are your goals, and who do you want to inspire, and what is your target group. And that is in bigger organizations normally it will take a month or 2 months to find it out, because you have a lot of stakeholders.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. And in the smaller companies, all the stakeholders came here in our office with 10 of them or 5. You have a good meeting in an afternoon or a day, and then it's set in stone. So that's the difference. But the step and the questions are the same. But it could also be that there is a question, we have a visual identity, please help us with a good website or a good application, or part of the website could also be the case. And that's a different question.
Yeah.
Because that's a structuring question and not a visual identity question. So then if it is a big organization or small, it's the same, the same steps, but also the sizing is different.
Okay. And when we take it back to our projects, we often have to create this concept, and then we have to work it out and really do these user tests to see if it will work.
Yeah.
But honestly, our user tests are often a little lacking because we don't have that much time and the sample size isn't that big.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you can maybe tell how you tackle user tests, because I feel like that's one of the most important things in your field.
Yeah. I'm always a little bit cynical about user tests, and it's the way that Steve Jobs was looking at user tests. I don't know if you know what his opinion was about it.
No, I'm not familiar.
Yeah. He hated it.
Okay, that's quite a statement.
So when there was someone in the Apple company who wanted to test something, he said, I've thought about it and you have thought about it. It's something completely new. Why do you think that someone who we present is will give an answer on something that he has to get used to it? Because when you ask it is the instant moment. You don't get a right answer on that. And his framing and storytelling, that's where my literature comes in. When you know that when you tell a story and you create a need, then you can fill in with something that you believe in. And that's what he did. He created a need. So, and that's interesting in design, because sometimes when you have to make something really new, because you have to make a change in something, could be the question of a client, could be a society issue. Mm-hmm. Then instead of, for example, driving in cars with 4 wheels, you can say, no, we don't have wheels anymore. We have a rail, and all the cars were hanging in the rail like a monorail in cities. Mm-hmm. Then people say, no, that's not going to work, because they don't see the total view on it. You can ask them, but they're not going to give a good answer. So going back to our projects, when you want to check if the color blue or the color yellow is functioning better in a page, I think that's a good test you can do. But if you want to test a concept and see how the reaction of people is, the best way to do is to listen to people. Not if they say if the concept is good or not good, but what do they say? What are the implicit words that are behind this? This is something that could be interesting in the future. This is something that I don't get it. What I'm looking for. Those words are far more important than a form with A, B, or C is the best. I don't believe in that.
Yeah. But then if you look at it at this way, then you also do user tests quite early in your process, I guess. It's not only to see if they like your final concept, but really to see what the problem is.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes we also use questionnaires. So we're not testing the concept, but we use questionnaires and to check what appeals more to you. Is it to be an innovator or to be a follower? So with a list of those questions, you can also check if someone is interested in something or not. So it's your end result is not sometimes the best test that you can make.
Yeah. Well, I think that's certainly something to just think about for ourselves as well, because that's really an interesting thing. And what you mentioned about Steve Jobs is that he created the need.
Yeah.
But when looking at like for example, the value proposition canvas, then you're really solving a need that is already present, right?
Yeah.
So do you see it as a good thing that you're creating a need? Because I feel like you also like just push out new things in the world that aren't really necessary at that point then.
Yeah, you can imagine that was partly his goal.
Evil genius.
Yeah, exactly. But at the other side, the place that music has in the current society, I think that's also we have to thankful Steve Jobs for that, because he makes music very close to us every moment of the day, every moment in the hour. So I think that's also a social value. And I think thinking in that way, we have so much social issues in what you can look at, what kind of problem are we solving. But you can also say, how can we create a need to attract people to something which also solves the problem? So that you're not going to focus on the problem, but to focus on something new which creates a new need. For example, the electric bike. I think 5-6 years ago, it was really for older people. I think people older than me also. And at some moments when we see that a lot of cities are trying to keep the cars out of the city, and now in Corona times you see that I would like to go with a bike to my school or to my work, but it's a little bit too far. Then the electric bike could be a solution. So, yeah, you can reframe that product in something for a new need. I think in the first place, it was invented for people who it was too heavy to bike on a normal bike. But now the need is where you go a little bit farther. You can take the electric bike. That's a new need.
I think that's a very good example.
And when you're looking now, a lot of young people are also using an electric bike.
Yeah, because a few years ago it wasn't
exactly.
cool at all to use an electric bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it also needs a few years sometimes for this need to kick in.
Yeah, it needs to kick in, and you have to challenge yourself to look at a different way to maybe products that are already exist, but for another need, that you can reframe it to a new need. And then solving a problem, car use, with something that you have already in your society.
Yeah. And something totally different, but in the beginning, you were saying like, oh, sometimes we go to New York or Barcelona, and people just come to us because we look like people who listen.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting, but like a big thing in when you leave university or you're done with your study is creating this network. Yeah. And do you have more tips for how to start with doing this?
Yeah, I think creating a network is, you can do it every moment when you're stepping into the train and you see people. It's about giving attention to people and listening to people. And no matter what a function or profession or background is, I think when that is your mindset, then you see so much interesting people around you. And yeah, you never know on what moment someone will give you something back or will give a ring, and then you think, oh, that's really special. A couple of years ago, you made a talk, and a couple of years later, you can help each other. And I think that's really how it works. In my managing career, there were a lot of networking events, and I really don't like them at all, because then you are supposed to listen to people who are presenting themselves. But it's more interesting to listen to people who are interesting and who are themselves.
Yeah. I think there was something I wanted to say, but I'm not sure. Shit. Okay, so interesting people, but then it's also more the mindset. It's not like, okay, I want to have a bigger network, so I'm really going to this networks event, but it's more that you just have to be interested in people. Yeah. And not really do it to expand your network, but more as your mindset in general.
Yeah, exactly.
Interested in
interested, and to follow your heart or your feeling. Maybe a really nice example, when I studied Dutch literature, my practical side said, oh, you have to do an internship very practically, because otherwise with literature, what do you want to do with it? So I want to stretch. What is the best internship that I can choose? And the best internship was to be a spokesman at the Ministry of Culture and Health. In that time, it was combined. And I was there in Rijswijk that time, and my mentor, she had no time for me. That was really annoying. So I thought, okay, then I will jump to another spokesman and see if he can help me the coming 3 months, because otherwise I don't have a mentor. And I implicitly choose someone who I thought, I think he can inspire me. And it was Ahmed Abu Talib.
Oh, that's...
So I, because my mentor didn't have time for me, I chose to walk with him all around Nieuwsport and with the minister. And I said, Ahmed, take me with you. Yes, go. Oh, we have to go to Nieuwsport. Jump into the car. Yes. That's what you feel. You feel this is someone. And in those 3 months, when you look at Ahmed Abu Talib, you see it's really an inspiring person. And I learned in 3 months about people, about listening to people so much. And I'm sure that I didn't learn so much from the mentor that was mentioned to be my mentor.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, so when you are looking at persons and not at positions, then it's far more interesting, and it gives you far more energy, insights of people, of stuff, of context.
So I feel like one of the overarching things in this conversation is really do things out of your intrinsic, like things you get energy from, and not just things you're supposed to do.
Exactly. Not looking at the system as a way to move forward, but the systems sometimes help you, but sometimes not.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have two last things already, and they really tie in together somehow, because it's really if you have any tips for the students. But then another one is, are there things you wanted to know, like if you could go back and talk to your younger self when you were the student, are there things you would want to say now that focus on this or focus on that, or just don't focus on anything at all?
Yeah, a little bit I told. What was the first question?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, just in general, are there any tips for all us insecure students who have no idea?
Don't be insecure. That's the first thing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's in line of what I told, and I think that's the main thing is quit when something doesn't work. That's really important. Could be a study, could be a project, could be anything. But a lot of people are really hesitating far too long. And I think that you're losing a lot of energy, which is not necessary. So quit when you feel it, listen to your heart, because then you are at the right moment. So that's first thing. And for me, it is really important when you look very carefully around you, something will present. And then Steve Jobs comes in again, there he is, with his sentence, connecting the dots. A lot of people asked him also, how did you come to this position, and how was your road? And he said, thinking backwards, looking backwards, it's only connecting the dots. And then you see a logical story. But when you're in, you don't see it. And you have to rely on your feeling and your guts, and you have to dare. I think that's really important. Yeah, so first name of our first company before Clutch, it was Dare.
I think it's a really nice name, and also just a nice word to finish this talk, Dare. Yeah, I think it's strong. And when we were in the train coming here, we were talking about, are there things we forgot? And we did, because normally we have like a little gift we want to give at the end, but we forgot to bring it.
Not necessary at all.
No, but we really want to give it, so we'll send that later. But just so you know, there's something coming.
Yeah.
And for all the viewers at home, I hope you enjoyed this last talk show. I hope you're inspired, and have a nice day.